Hi, today our topic is venous air embolism. Imagine this scenario. Your patient's vital signs are stable during surgery, and within seconds, the end-tidal carbon dioxide suddenly drops. Blood pressure begins to fall, oxygen saturation declines, and the ECG starts showing signs of cardiovascular compromise. This is one of the few intraoperative emergencies where recognizing the first monitor change can save a patient's life before clinical collapse occurs. That emergency is venous air embolism. Welcome to the Dr. MEK Explainer series, where we simplify complex critical care and perioperative emergencies into practical, evidence-based learning for healthcare professionals. A brief disclaimer, this educational presentation is intended for medical professionals and should always be interpreted alongside current institutional protocols and the latest evidence-based clinical guidelines. Venous air embolism occurs when air enters the venous circulation and travels to the right heart and pulmonary vasculature. Even relatively small volumes of air may significantly increase pulmonary vascular resistance, impair right ventricular outflow, reduce left ventricular preload, and ultimately lead to cardiovascular collapse if not recognized promptly. The earliest and often most sensitive intraoperative indicator is a sudden decrease in end-tidal carbon dioxide, reflecting an acute increase in pulmonary dead space. Simultaneously, arterial carbon dioxide may rise because of impaired pulmonary perfusion. In severe cases, hypotension, tachyarrhythmias, hypoxemia, elevated central venous pressure, and the classic, but uncommon, mill-wheel murmur may be observed. Precordial Doppler ultrasound is highly sensitive for detecting intracardiac air, while transesophageal echocardiography remains the most sensitive diagnostic modality when expertise is available. The differential diagnosis includes pulmonary thromboembolism, fat embolism, amniotic fluid embolism, and brainstem ischemia or traction, depending on the surgical setting and clinical presentation. Management begins immediately. First, prevent further air entrainment by informing the surgical team, flooding the operative field with saline when appropriate, compressing the source of air entry, and discontinuing nitrous oxide because it enlarges intravascular air bubbles. Increase venous pressure with appropriate fluid administration and positive end expiratory pressure when clinically indicated. Next, minimize the hemodynamic consequences by positioning the patient appropriately, typically in the left lateral decubitus position when feasible, and aspirating air through a central venous catheter if one is already correctly positioned. Finally, provide aggressive cardiopulmonary support with 100% oxygen, optimize ventilation, administer intravenous fluids and vasoactive medications as required, and initiate advanced life support without delay if cardiovascular collapse develops. The key clinical message is simple. A sudden fall in end-tidal carbon dioxide during surgery should always raise immediate suspicion for venous air embolism until proven otherwise. Early recognition, rapid communication, and coordinated multidisciplinary management remain the cornerstones of improving patient outcomes. You are watching the Dr. MEK Explainer series. Thanks for watching. Remember, in perioperative medicine, seconds matter. The monitor often detects the emergency before the patient does. Recognize the pattern early, intervene decisively, and you may save a life.